Hey everybody, Objectively Dan here, and if you're watching this broadcast live, then it is Thanksgiving Day in the United States, which means we're not going to have a regular live show, but instead we have a pre-recorded show for you today. It is our annual tradition, the Truth Wanted, Thankful for Our Haters segment. So get ready because the show is going to start right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Truth Wanted. I'm your host, Objectively Dan. Normally, this is the live call-in show that happens every single week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Also, it's not Thanksgiving Day if you're watching this live. It's the day after Thanksgiving Day. I don't know why I said that in the intro because it's a Thursday and this should be a Friday. But anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because we're all here today to be thankful for one thing, and that is our haters. I am joined by my two special friends this evening. It is Kelley, Laughlin, and John, the Skeptick, fellow host of Truth Wanted. Guys, what's going on today?
Hey, what's up, Dan?
We're here, and we're ready to be thankful. How long have you lived in this country, and how long have you known that Thanksgiving's on a Thursday and that this show's on a Friday?
The answer is too long for both.
Okay,
I'd say.
Okay.
But yeah, I appreciate that comment, John. So, this is the part where we normally talk about our hate comments that we like to read throughout the year. And an exceptional thing happened this year, which is the fact that we were just so unanimously popular amongst all spaces in which this show is broadcasted that we just had no negative comments whatsoever. I mean, everybody just thought we were perfect.
Right.
And
I feel like I've
amazing.
rubbed off on this though, because usually this is my third time doing a Thankful for the Haters, and I rarely get any negative comments.
Yeah,
it's
everyone loves you, John. That's the thing.
Maybe I'm rubbing off on you all.
That's what it is. You're right.
We're finally getting up to your level. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
That's what's going on, I think. So, in encountering this problem, kind of had a powwow with the gang, and it was like, hey, what are we going to do? Because there's not as many hate comments as we normally have. And so what we decided was, well, you know what? Why just talk about our haters, right? Why not talk about the haters of us as like a community? So here's what we did. We have some quotes from some celebrities from all around the world who have a bone to pick with atheists, and we thought, hey, maybe we could react to some of those. So that's what we're going to do today on today's show, and we got quite a list here, so we'll see how many of these we can get through. But I'm going to start off for this one first with a classic from George H.W. Bush. This is apparently a tribute to him during a campaign stop in Chicago in 1987. The then Vice President Bush was asked by journalist Robert Sherman if he would recognize the equal citizenship and patriotism of Americans who are atheists. And he is quoted in response to saying, "No, I don't know that atheists should be considered as citizens, nor should they be considered patriots. This is one nation under God." So apparently we're just not U.S. citizens, according to H.W. Bush. We don't even matter in that respect.
I mean, technically, I'm not anyway.
I was going to say,
I have no skin in this game.
You don't even count. I mean, the conversation doesn't even start with you.
No,
right?
Yeah,
like,
what comes to mind right away with me is Pat Tillman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How can you say that man was not a patriot? Right.
There's a lot, like, okay, so, being an American patriot, I mean, what are we talking about? Like, David Koresh was also a U.S. citizen, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if the standard is just morality here. It's more just like, were you born here and did you fill out all the paperwork? It's really not that hard. I don't know why your religion has anything to really do with that.
He was an atheist and had an NFL career ahead of him, and he pushed that aside to go fight for his country. And
that's true.
Where he was killed,
Yeah.
And now that man, I don't care what you say, that man was a patriot, and he was an atheist. So
that's true. And the U.S. government also very famously tried to hide that fact, and it wasn't found out until after the war. So that was cool. That was a really fun time for old Pat.
It goes to show you there are atheists in foxholes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I always go back to that meme, and I live by memes, but there's that one that is, "This is not a Christian nation. This is a nation in which you are free to be a Christian."
Right. That's true. And I'll be honest, I don't think there's a single piece of advice that George H.W. Bush could tell me that I would realistically follow, right? I don't know if he is a good guidepost for really anything that I actually care about. So
I think
anyway.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's my take on that one. Okay, John, you want to pick the next quote here?
There's a good one here from John Locke, and I'm hoping it's not the guy from that amazing television show Lost. In his seminal 1689 work, A Letter Concerning Toleration, John Locke argued for religious freedom, but specifically excluded atheists from this tolerance. Promises, covenants, and oaths, which are the bonds of human society, can have no hold upon an atheist. The taking away of God, though but even in thought, dissolves all.
Okay, so we can't make oaths, we can't make promises. We're not allowed to for some reason. I don't know how that works.
We're not adequate members of human society because
That's
we
pretty
don't
rough.
believe in that. Right?
Yeah, well, we can't be trusted unless we have a belief in a higher power, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea. Because like we could just lie and there'd be no mortal consequences. I guess, right?
Because we hate God.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. Someone legitimately asked me the other day, if I was to go to an AA meeting, who would be my higher power? Genuinely asked that. And I just said myself, if ever it happened.
Okay.
But we don't need.
I was going to say like Aretha Franklin or.
Oh, that's true.
You know, somebody out there maybe you could account to.
But way better answer. Where were you when I needed?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, if I'm going to court and I'm under oath, I'm going to testify truthfully because I'm scared of perjury. Right. Maybe that just means I only am afraid of consequences. But like, even if you're a believer, aren't you scared of like going to hell? Isn't it kind of the same thing? Like, I don't know. If
the thought of jail scares me more than hell.
Yeah, that's true. That's
because you know what happens.
That's fair,
right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. All right, so John Locke, he wrote some stuff, but this one not his best take, I'd say. No, so great on that one. All right, Kelley, you got the next one.
I do, and this one's from Steve Harvey. We all love Steve Harvey. On a 2009
point of order. I don't know if you're saying that sarcastically. I want to be clear. I do not like Steve Harvey for many reasons.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that that's on the record.
Yes,
all right.
Yes. In a 2009 interview on the Tyra Banks show, the comedian and host discussed how he assesses people, specifically women looking for a partner. And this is what he said. You sit with him and you talk. And if he says, I'm an atheist, you just pack it up and go home. You talk to him? No, you don't talk to him. Where is your moral barometer? To me, you're an idiot. I don't believe you. If you don't believe in God, then where is your moral barometer? There's that moral barometer again. That's it. You're trying to tell me you don't believe in nothing? What's wrong with you?
And to me, Steve Harvey looks like Mr. Potato Head. So I don't know if we're going to talk opinions.
Wow.
Whether Steve Harvey's really matters. Steve Harvey has, talk about moral barometer. This guy is super scummy. I mean, I don't know if you've read his books or have seen quotes from him and stuff, but it's all about the worst possible dating advice ever. It's all just like patriarchal bullshit about how a man is supposed to be in charge of everything. And you gotta, I don't know. There's again, it's much like with George H.W. Bush. There's not much advice I'd take from Steve Harvey into account.
This seems like there's a little bit of fear as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to pack up and go home if he says he's an atheist. Why wouldn't you want a conversation with that? Why wouldn't you want to learn? Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, Steve, come on, answer to us. Okay.
I want to know where you buy a moral barometer. I have a pocket karma calculator, but I think I need a moral barometer too.
Yeah, that'd be nice,
There is an app on the Play Store and on iOS. There are apps for that.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that thing would be going crazy if it was in front of Steve Harvey. He doesn't want a moral barometer, honestly.
And I guess he's like devoutly religious.
Yeah, no, he sucks.
right. But so his moral barometer is the Bible.
He's one of those like Christians who got really rich and then judges other people for not being like a rich Christian kind of morality. It's one of those kinds
Oh.
of things, I
I
think.
get
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So not great. All right. An F grade to Steve Harvey, I guess. Not that my opinion of him was high to begin with, but this goes even lower, I think, in that regard. So next one I have here is from Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame. You guys remember Duck Dynasty, right? That was a thing.
Yeah.
What a phenomenon that was. Actually, side note, my dad went to go see, I think it was Phil Robertson at Baylor University one time to give a talk. He was like talking, I don't know, he was one of the speaking engagement things. It's just like, God, you can see that guy for free on TV or just like watch YouTube. What is he going to teach you at a talk? Anyway, I don't know, really dumb. Hey, let's talk about this. So in a 2013 speech, the reality TV star created a hypothetical scenario describing what he believed happens when an atheist family is attacked, implying they have no basis for objection. Quote, if you're an atheist, you have no judge, there is no standard. Two men break into your home, they cut your head off. The atheist says, Judge, they didn't play fair. The judge says, what is fair? But the law, they didn't obey the law. That's why we determined that. What do you mean?
Is cutting off people's heads good for people? No, it's not. Oh, okay. Then we probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Phil Robertson's
implying that atheists don't care if people do it. Isn't that the implication of that?
Well, you know, he's one of those guys that's saying like, because you're not a Christian, you don't have an objective moral standard, which is like, you don't, that's funny about court is that you don't actually need an objective moral standard. You just need to know if someone's following the law or not. That's the whole point of the court. That's why the judge is there. He's not there to say, was this morally right or not? He was there to say, did you break the law or not? So I mean, it sounds like a silly answer, but it's like, yeah, that's how the law works. I don't know what to tell you, Phil.
I don't know how smart Phil is anyway. I remember him once saying that we didn't need healthcare coverage because God would take care of it.
Yeah, I think he was one of those guys too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he did say that in an interview too. So, and he's not in those exact words, but yes, he did say that.
He's not with us anymore, right?
No, yeah, you're right. He did die. He died. No, but he died this year. And then the other one died a few years ago. The other guy, the older guy, I can't remember his name. He was the one that was super like anti-LGBT and stuff. He was really bad.
Care of his healthcare.
Yeah, I know, right? That like, is there anything worse than like Southern Christian rich guys? You know what I mean? Like that's got to be categories of dudes of like are the worst in my non-moral objective, worldview. I'd say that's got to be up there.
I think there is something worse than you said a rich Southern.
Yeah, rich Southern Christian guy. Yeah.
20 of them.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, we can quantify that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've got one from is it Newt Gingrich?
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that right?
That's right, Newt Gingrich.
Yeah. Okay, I'm learning.
It sounds. Have you seen a picture? You know who Newt Gingrich is? Have you ever seen a picture of him?
The only one I know is Newt Scamander from that universe.
Newt Gingrich is a guy who looks like exactly what his name sounds like. You know what I mean? He's like,
really?
Yeah. You should Google him.
I need to Google. I should do some research.
You could almost say he's one of the founders of the Christian nationalist movement. And
in that case,
he's written just a ton of books. He's been involved in GOP politics for a long time. For decades, he was involved. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, super early Obama hater. One of those.
Really?
Yeah. One of those.
Say no more. Let's see what Newt has to say from his 2011 book, A Nation Like No Other. The former Speaker of the House warned against secularism. And he said, I think a secular atheist country is a potential disaster. A country that is purely secular, that has no sense of a creator, will sooner or later be dominated by radical Islamists.
That's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
and we know that there are like largely secular countries around the world that are just doing great.
You know, and he said that shit in 2011 too. It's like, brother, 9/11 was 10 years ago at that point. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little out of fashion, I think. You know, not even keeping up with the racism of the times. I'm just saying. But
so secularism could deal with getting rid of Christianity, but not Islam. Was that the?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Apparently, Christianity's weakness is secularism, but not Islam. So
is that like rock paper scissors? So
yeah, probably.
Who
yeah.
who?
I like that. Yeah, wow. So like what is, I guess the solution for guys like Newt is just, if everybody becomes a Christian, then we can defeat the radical Islamists. But how do the Christians do that? Do they by nuclear ICBMs?
Wow, yeah,
what's
right.
going on?
But then what happens once they've defeated the radical Islamists? There's no need for Christianity, and then go back to good old secularism that beats the Christianity.
We see there has to be a balance, and it's kind of like Avatar. Yeah. There's got to be a balance of all the different groups. I don't know.
You're right. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's move on, I guess. So.
Yeah.
This one is from Alice Walker, to the renowned author of The Color Purple, and in a 2011 interview with the Globe and Mail, she said, "People who don't believe in God are kind of cold to me. They're not quite filled in. It's like, well, you missed the best part."
Man, okay. I would say people who do believe in God maybe are a little too filled in. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't want to see that feeling. You know, maybe that feeling's a little hateful, a little spiteful, a little mean, because that's a mean comment to make, calling people cold for just not believing in God.
It is pretty cold.
I'm not out here writing books about Christians not being filled in. Okay, calm down. You know, she shot first. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But you can guarantee it was said in a loving way, because that's how it's always presented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
We're missing something, guys. What are we missing here? What are we not filled in with? I guess the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. I might call that gullibility, but that's just me.
That's that might be a good proposal, I'd say.
I don't want to speak for everyone, but that's where I am.
Right. Yeah.
I can think of a lot of things I'm missing, but none of them have to do with my spirituality or my atheism or religiosity.
Yeah, apparently we're missing the best part, which is like what? Like trying your grandma's casserole at the church bake sale? Like, what am I missing here? Because like I don't know if going to church every Sunday, if anything, I've been able to fill up my time with a bunch of other cooler stuff, you know, like calling shows. Well, hey, that's something. How many call-in shows did I get to do at church? 0. So,
how much of your income did you lose? Maybe.
Well, let's move on. So we got Dinesh D'Souza is next on this list. You guys are both familiar with Dinesh D'Souza, right?
Yeah, he's a criminal.
The name rings a bell. Yeah.
Dinesh D'Souza, yes, is a felon. That's a fact. Because of the voting stuff, right? That was he committed voter fraud. Not voter fraud, but it was like, what was the thing? I don't know.
I believe it was fraud.
Yeah, was it fraud? Okay, yeah. So convicted felon Dinesh D'Souza, in his 2007 book, What's So Great About Christianity, the conservative commentator argued that atheism is responsible for the 20th century's worst atrocities. Quote, atheism, not religion, is the real force behind the mass murders of history. I mean, what is this? It's always goes back to like, because Stalin and like Mao were atheists, therefore.
I just don't remember a secular crusade.
Right.
Yeah. Remember when all the atheists got together and did an inquisition on the Christians and asked them if they believe in God?
You know what? I just remembered that 1497 secular jihad that never happened too.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And Stalin and Mao, that like they didn't do what they did in the name of atheism.
Yeah.
They did it because of
it's almost like there was like political fanaticism happening there at a really deeply unhealthy level that I think a secular society would point out, a free secular society, I should say, would rightly point out and be able to criticize, which, that's never happened before, I guess. And it certainly isn't happening now. But, my personal commentary aside, I would say, no, Dinesh, I don't think that's the real reason why mass atrocities have occurred. So not a great.
We can have a little. Let's do a little experiment right now. Think of someone that you love very much that believes in God. And how angry does that make you about that one person very, very special in your life? I'm okay with it. I don't feel like there's any. Okay, so I don't feel like that's killing in the name of atheism. I don't think it's a thing. Oh, I'm so annoyed that person believes in a God. I'm going around there. Oh,
yeah. No. America's been able to commit a lot of atrocities just fine and still believe in God. Like, I don't know if that's been the
secularism by the sword.
Yeah, I don't think that's been stopping them too much from doing all the things they want to do. So I'm not in agreement with that. John, you got the next one here?
I do. Theodore Roosevelt, and I've got a fun story to tell you about Theodore Roosevelt in a second.
Okay.
In a letter regarding the character of the American public, the former president expressed a strong preference for churchgoers. And he said, the man who has never been within a church is a distinct lowering of the tone of the house.
Wow.
Which just goes to show how long this has been an issue.
Really. I like the British pronunciation of Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt.
It's
pretty good.
There's two O's. You call it a moose?
No, I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that should be the way to do it. I've just literally never heard anyone say his name like that, and it's like, it should be said that way, huh?
Right. This is why I'm here. I bring nothing else to the table other than fancy words.
No, yeah. Theodore Roosevelt did some cool if I had to pick a president in the last 100 years based on vibes, Theodore Roosevelt's up there because he did the whole national parks thing, right? He was doing, and also he wrote really well. If you ever read his stuff, he's super incredible. Sucks that he wrote this though. Did not know that he was kind of a hater in that regard.
But I don't feel like it's that hateful. Because I feel like I go around lowering the tone, and I'm okay with it.
I don't want to defend somebody saying bad things, but I kind of feel like this was also part of the culture at the time, right? If you didn't go to church back in 1898, people did look down upon you. It was, what I mean? And let's face it, he was raised in an upper class family with those strict values, so I could see where he would have these beliefs. I agree with you. He's like one of my favorite presidents ever in the United States.
Wow. And, listen, I've got a story for you.
And what he did to stop corporate takeover of America.
Yeah.
He was a great president. So, but saying something like this is definitely kind of inexcusable, even if it was kind of pounded into his head, throughout his lifetime.
Well, since you both like Theodore Roosevelt so much, I'm going to make you both like me even more. Even though this is an unverified story, but my great-grandfather was a medic in the army, and he apparently performed an appendectomy on Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, cool.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So he saved him. But I've searched, my mother and my aunt tell me this story all the time, and I've never been able to find anything to verify it. But if true, how cool.
Wait, was he American?
No, he was British.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
Could it maybe on his tour of Africa after he
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that same grandfather killed an elephant as well and brought his foot home. So I think it was around then.
Nice. Yeah, it's around the killing of elephants time. That's still being a thing you could brag about.
Right. My grandmother had an elephant's foot in her living room, and it was the weirdest thing growing up. I'm like, why is there this elephant foot here?
I'm pretty sure Theodore Roosevelt had some sort of animal totem of every single thing that he shot. Around the world, he had some sort of trophy. So Doesn't surprise me.
There you go.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Wow, I guess we have your lineage to thank.
You're welcome.
For thinking Theodore Roosevelt's vibes are kind of cool.
Right.
So there you go. That's really great. Kelley, you should do the next one.
Well, this one's from Oprah Winfrey from a Super Bowl Sunday interview with swimmer Diana Nyad in 2013. Nyad identified as an atheist who feels awe at the universe, and Oprah corrected her, saying, well, I don't call you an atheist then. I think if you believe in the awe and wonder and the mystery, then that is what God is.
Hey, Oprah, no. How about you let me say what I want to be called, or let her say what she wants to be called, and you shut up and don't tell people what they should call themselves.
Yeah.
What the heck?
We don't have enough of that in this world. People telling other people what they should believe in. I feel like that we just don't have enough of that.
Yeah,
she's right though. I always wonder what God's supposed to be. So
right. Well,
if she is, I mean, she's saying it's wonder. Yeah, I definitely wonder.
And that goes into the stereotype about atheists, where it's like, oh, we can't have awe and wonder and mystery. It's like, no, this person's literally expressing it just in a secular way. You just don't like that.
Right.
Like that's all that's really saying. It's more about you than anything.
Or even more insulting, something to believe in, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That makes me too, by the way, when atheists say, oh, a Christian doesn't believe XYZ, therefore they're not a Christian. My standard is no. If somebody says they're a Christian, that's it. They could say they don't believe in God and still call themselves a Christian. Right. I will still accept that. I don't really care, because it's always been a subjective sort of social label that has meant a billion different things at different times. You know, it doesn't bother me what people want to call themselves, but you know, I thought this was America. I thought we could call ourselves wherever we wanted. I guess not, according to some people. Anyway,
okay? Do you want to get off that soapbox a second? Okay?
I should probably get down. I'm still thinking about Theodore Roosevelt and how I just didn't want to let him down,
No, that's fair.
I don't want to lower the tone. Anyway, I guess I better lower myself off the soapbox and let somebody else.
It's your turn.
I guess it is my turn, so I'll go next. I'm getting back on the soapbox, folks. Next one is with Kevin Sorbo. And Kevin Sorbo, Kevin. Kevin Sorbo sucks for a number of reasons. And I have a story about that, but remind me about it in just a second. Let me read the quote first. The quote we have from Kevin Sorbo, he's the actor from God's Not Dead, by the way. He was also Hercules back in the old Hercules movies. From what was it, the 80s or 90s or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, he's washed up and he's terrible. But here's the quote. I see these guys talking about atheists who are just angry. They're just filled with anger and hatred. Why would anybody spend so much time ranting and raving about something they don't believe in? They know he exists and they hate him. So we're ranting and raving about stuff we don't believe in, but also we know he exists. So can you explain that one to me, boys? Because I don't know how that works.
I feel like he's been hanging out with Oprah because he's, telling people what they believe.
Right.
Yeah. Which is a shame. I feel like I'm in the position where I hate the God of the Bible as much as I hate Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a character I don't really enjoy. Maybe I'll apply that to real life too, where people think this character exists and it just gets on my nerves. Yeah,
that's true. So the story I was that's a good analogy, I think. I think Jar Jar Binks, I think Kevin Sorbo is the Jar Jar Binks of Hollywood.
There you go.
I think that's a good sort of analogy. The thing I was going to bring up, so we had John Delancey once on Truth Wanted, and this was like one of the biggest celebrity guests I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. But the thing that wasn't pleasurable was that he mentioned that Kevin Sorbo was like a really good friend of his, because I was about to talk a bunch of mad shit about Kevin Sorbo. And I'll be honest, I didn't want John Delancey to leave, so I didn't ask him more about it. But in retrospect, I really wish I could have asked him more, because what do you mean you're good friends with Kevin Sorbo? Like, why are you defending the guy who posts anti-vax conspiracies on Twitter? Because he was Hercules 20 years ago or whatever, right. And people are supposed to give a shit about that. I don't know. But yeah, everything that Kevin Sorbo ever says is pretty much garbage. So I don't know how you can be friends with that.
Well, I know the fact about being angry is pretty garbage. Well, I don't know. We have been angrily laughing.
Listen, hang on, Kelley. Now hold on a second. All right, you hold your horses because we have some angry people in our community. Let's be real.
We do.
Okay. Let's be real.
We have angry people in every community, though, don't we? I mean, I know a lot of angry Christians. I know a lot of angry Muslims. I mean,
yeah. I'm not saying there isn't a thing as righteous anger. I don't think like you should definitely be angry at unjust things. Sometimes it can be unhealthy, but you know, that's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It's whatever.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So there you go, Kevin Sorbo. I don't know. I can't change a guy like that. You know, he's always going to be that way. No helping a guy like Kevin Sorbo. Who's next on the list, John?
It'll be me doing Kirk Cameron, another actor, and also an evangelist. Good. An atheist can't stand behind their assertion that God doesn't exist. The stupidest thing I ever could have done was to reject his truth. And he was talking about his conversion from atheism then.
Yep. Yeah, you know who Kirk Cameron is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've only lived in this country for a few years, but remind me, I'm not good with names.
He's like I forget his first. He was in Growing Pains. That was his first thing. Have you ever heard of Growing Pains? It was like a sitcom for back in the day.
I'm gonna ask my good friend.
It was a fairly big sitcom, and then like he became a Christian guy like super fast after that, and he was big for like he was like the Christian movie star. He's what Kevin Sorbo wishes he could be, I would say.
Didn't he do the banana video too?
No, that's not Kirk Cameron. That's Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort did the.
I thought they were.
He was with him.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. That was Ray Comfort with Kirk Cameron in that video. You know the banana video, John, where Ray Comfort's like, "All right, here's a banana, and if you open it up and you peel it, and you know, and just
that's so smart.
That was an Australian accent. He's from New Zealand.
That was me trying to do a New Zealand accent. Okay, don't fucking hate on me right now. All right, I don't need that.
You know, next year's Thankful for Our Haters is just going to be people just ripping on
your John. It's just all John in the comments section. Every video, tell me my accents are terrible. Okay. I'm trying my best here.
You did a great job. You really did.
No, I didn't. Shut up, because you already said I didn't. Yeah, now I'm angry. I'm angry about something I don't believe in, which is you saying I did a good job. But anyway, Kirk Cameron. He's a guy. He has a new show called Iggy and Mr. Kirk. I talked about this on a different stream where it's him talking to like a puppet chameleon. And the pilot episode of that show is, first of all, it's like a Mr. Rogers ripoff. But the pilot episode of that show is really strange. Let me tell you why. Because he tucks this like chameleon lizard thing into bed, but it's almost like very like, I don't want to say sensual because it's weird. He tucks him in, he gives him a kiss goodnight, he rubs his head, and he leaves or like reads the story. It's like, it's a puppet, man. Like you're getting way too intimate with this thing. And I guess people commented on that because every time he like tucks him into bed again, he does not do that shit anymore. But for some reason, he was like really horny for that puppy, puppet chameleon child thing in that first episode. But anyway, that's some fun Kirk Cameron trivia for you.
I guess he just couldn't handle the sight of that thing lying in the bed.
Ever since that banana video with Ray Comfort, he's been exploring new ideas that probably maybe shouldn't explore. But who am I to kink shame? At any rate, we should move on before I say something else that Greg is going to kick me off the show for. Who's next? Kelley? I think it's you. Okay.
Yeah, Rick Reilly, the sports columnist, said on ESPN in 2008 after Josh Hamilton, a recovering addict and devout Christian, hit a record-breaking 28 home runs in the first round of the Home Run Derby. It's a lousy night to be an atheist.
So because you hit a home run? Like, hey, bud, they do that all the time. What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that mean? That's really interesting.
Apparently, an atheist can't get over drug addiction.
Right, there's that too. Like, only Christians are good at home run derbies, I guess. Atheists can't compete in that category. I think we're barred. I don't know.
I think that kind of strikes home with me because it was getting out of my superstitional beliefs that actually helped cure me of my drug addiction. So my experience was just the opposite of that. So
that's good. How many home runs did you hit during that time?
You know what? Here's the thing. I didn't play baseball, but I hit a bunch of home runs in another area. It was, it was the 70s and the 80s. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, that's why you're without God for sure. I can see that now. Definitely
what a lousy
godless answer there. I would say.
Lousy night to be an atheist.
I mean, 28 home runs is pretty cool, though. Can't fault him for that. I just don't think God had anything to do with it, man. I think he just hit 28 home runs. Why not just,
Did he have a baseball bat? Because I'm assuming that was what hit the ball.
John, I think they make you hit it with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't know what else. What were you thinking?
Just the power of like believing in God. Just
I see. So sort of gotcha. Yeah, that would be impressive. Then I would have to start believing. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. He just hit that ball with his mind in his sort of prayer
God
powers.
did it. God
did it. Yeah, sort of interceded through him. He's like an antenna. He's kind of picking up the signal, or something. I don't know the logistics.
With you,
right, true. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take this next one. We got Tyson Fury, heavyweight boxing champion, who gave us this quote, which was from an interview with The Guardian. If I could take my own life and I wasn't a Christian, I'd take it in a second. I just hope someone kills me before I kill myself. I'll have to spend eternity in hell. Wow, man. What's up, Tyson? What's going on? You okay, bud? You okay? That's kind of why? Why do you need to kill yourself if you're an atheist? What's the deal? I guess if Christianity really gives you that life purpose and you really don't think you can have without it, I guess I understand that perspective. I don't think that's a good perspective, but it
goes back to that old saying that atheists have nothing to die for; they've just got everything to live for.
Yeah, true.
That's where I feel like that's where a lot of us are at. We're like, this is our one shot. Let's give it the best we can and have a great time.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's there is kind of a stereotype that if we are the way that we are, that we have no life purpose and stuff. And I think that's where that's coming from. I think the assumption is, oh, well, you must have nothing to live for if you're an atheist. But it's like, man, I got tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We have people we love. We have things we want to do.
Yeah.
We have plenty of things to live for.
Just got to think about it for more than 2 seconds and realize there is more to this life. Turns out there's other stuff you can do, And
I'm sure that somebody who thinks that way too doesn't devote 100% of their time in their life to their religious belief too.
Yeah, if he did, I wouldn't be reading about him in an interview from The Guardian. They'd be out in a monastery somewhere doing stuff.
He wouldn't be a heavyweight boxer, right?
Exactly. So he's got to get that figured out. So Kelley, I think you got the next one for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is one's from Mark Driscoll, megachurch pastor. He's a controversial pastor known for his aggressive preaching style, explicitly categorized non-belief as a form of devil worship. If you are an atheist, you are a Satanist. You just don't know it.
Oh, okay. Got it. So if you are like an Aborigine and then I don't know, went away from your native culture's belief system, you're also supporting Satan, even though you may have no idea about anything from Christianity. You're just all kind of supporting Satan. I guess that's how that works.
I think he would probably look at the fact that you were supporting Satan even before you gave up that belief.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
I would suspect that he would think that anybody who isn't a Christian is supporting Satan.
I don't like that binary. Where's the third party? Where's the independent voter in this scenario? I want to vote for the universe, just as a thing, not really God or Satan. Can I go for the universe? Or how about cosmic space unicorns? Can I get a vote in for that one?
Purple pandas that only eat cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A giraffe. Yeah. There's rainbow giraffes out there,
There's got to be something. Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like more than anything, this is kind of insulting to Satanists because the Satanists are probably like, no, we put in a lot of thought and care into this, and you're lumping the lazy atheists sort of into our thing, and they got like their own rituals and stuff, I don't know. It's more offensive to them than anything.
I was walking through Walmart the other day and I'm an atheist. And suddenly when I was picking up some sugar, I went, oh, I'm a Satanist. And then I just carried on. It just hit me.
It's a classic blunder.
Yeah.
I made that mistake.
Oh, that's what I am. Okay. Someone told me sometime.
So when I ask you, hey, what do you believe in? Like, I don't believe in God. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm a Satanist.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll clarify that.
Yeah, right.
That makes sense.
How ridiculous.
Yeah, well, not the most insightful quote of the night, I'd say. This next one, though, is coming from, Dolly Parton is on this list. Can you believe it? Dolly Parton. A lot of people like Dolly Parton. Maybe you won't like her as much if you hear this quote. While generally known for being inclusive, the country legend repeated a common dismissive trope about the sincerity of non-believers and said the following, quote, "You don't see too many atheists on deathbed. They all start cramming then," which was an interview that you did in 2011. So I get what she's saying. Because, yes, deathbed recanting is a thing, but also it's really dismissive for people who've been atheists for their whole life. You know what I mean? I get that happens, but usually that's relapsed Christians that kind of do that thing more than atheists, right?
My mother, who was raised Catholic, passed away last year, and she didn't have any deathbed recantings of her atheism. So.
Yeah. And my wife just lost her 100-year-old papa. Grandfather, and we went and visited him, and not once did he mention God. Not once.
Yeah. So maybe Dolly Parton should stop doing that. I think.
Maybe you know who she's been hanging out with?
She's hanging out with the wrong dying people.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. Yep. Okay. Well, this is a negative point to you, Dolly Parton. Stop that. Dolly. But keep up the book thing. Where you're giving kids books and stuff. That's pretty good.
We receive that. We do that in this house.
Yeah.
They're good books.
It's a nice one. John, what's next on our list?
Paul Walker. Now this is an actor I do know. Finally. Yeah. From the Fast and the Furious. Or Fast and Furious, not the Fast and never mind. The late actor expressed a total inability to comprehend the atheist worldview, linking it back to a lack of appreciation for nature, which I don't understand how those two things go together, but whatever. He said, "The people I don't understand are atheists. I go surfing and snowboarding, and I'm always around nature. I look at everything and think, who couldn't believe there's a God? Is all this a mistake? It just blows me away. It's just another look at the trees argument."
Yeah, Paul, when you're a millionaire actor who has the time to go snowboarding and surfing, I'm sure life's pretty awesome, right? Yeah. I'm not doubting that, but not everybody has the same sort of privilege, I guess, to look at things that way. Let's put it that way.
I think the same thing when I'm driving down a highway and I see 20 dead deer just lying, but oh, isn't life beautiful? Oh, how wonderful.
I thought you were going to make a really dark joke there and say, I think the same thing when I drive by and I see a dead Paul Walker. I thought you were going to make
You're
that.
You're really lowering the tone down.
I'm low. Oh, God, you're right. Teddy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bud. I didn't mean to, let me get.
Wow.
Oh, geez. All right. I gotta figure out how to raise this tone again. Rest in peace, Paul Walker, I guess. Right, I don't know. Rest in peace.
Right. Don't look at the trees and think silly things. Come on.
You got to wonder how somebody can get, well, because I've acted, it's not hard. It's not easy. It's not really easy to act well. And you got to have a half a brain to do it. So it blows me away when somebody would just kind of like give up all thinking just to throw in a God,
Right.
Listen, I don't know. Okay, I'm not sort of disparaging the acting tradition. Okay, I'm not that guy, especially not with John in the room. Okay, I wouldn't say that, but I will say, celebrity actors are not oftentimes as smart as people. I don't know what celebrity actors you've been reading, but they're not exactly quoting, Socrates a lot of times.
Performing Hamlet, or
yeah. I don't know.
If Paul Walker did that, then I might take him seriously.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Paul Walker version of Hamlet. Right. I'd watch that.
You got to at least be able to read a script.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's it. Although, actually, you may not even, according like Robert De Niro, right? Like, doesn't he just looking at like flashcards and stuff? You may not even have to read a script, So it's debatable if even that's a requirement. But anyway, I guess we'll move on. I think it's my turn again, right? Is it my turn?
I think it's Kelley.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, Kelley, back to you.
Sorry. This one's from John Hagee. It's from a sermon televised on John Hagee Ministries. And if you don't know him, he's the founder of the Cornerstone Church. He's been explicitly insulting regarding the intellectual contributions of non-believers. I'm all tongue-tied. Atheism is bankrupt and empty. It's brain dead. Atheism has never healed a disease. Atheism has never given anyone peace of mind.
Wow. Okay. John, I'd like a report on my desk of every disease that's been healed by Christianity, please.
I can do that tomorrow. For you now.
Okay.
I'll do that right now. But
great.
But are you talking power of prayer, or are you talking?
So literally anything. Okay. I think I'll take literally anything. How about that?
There you go.
All right. Oh, thanks. Okay. It says here, fucking nothing, actually. Yeah. So I think we're tied on that one, Mr. Hagee. I think it's 0-0. Maybe you need to go back and get that home run guy to, score you some pointers, because it's not really going anywhere. It's goose eggs. Yeah.
I would say that I'm brain dead despite my atheism.
Yes. Right? I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah. and here's another thing too, because I'm brain dead, I also have peace of mind.
Oh yeah, that's true. God, I'd pay for some peace of mind right now. I'd like that, Right. But anyway, I wonder I guess he literally thinks like the praying over stuff. He's probably one of those guys. He's like, yeah, this is the healing that's going on. Oh gosh, annoying. I hate it. Don't like it. We'll do a few more here and then maybe wrap things up in just a bit, I think. So this next one I got is Ben Stein. Ben Stein is the guy that's like Bueller in Ferris Bueller, guy with the glasses. That's Ben Stein. Like very famously also a Christian and very famously saying dumb stuff about that. In his documentary Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed, Stein heavily implied a direct causal link between leaving religion and committing genocide. Quote, love of God is sufficient to explain the universe. Atheism is not. Darwinism led to the Holocaust. And I just want to point out, this is from the guy who made a documentary about intelligent design, like one of the dumbest things that has the name intelligent in it, like ever made. Right. So I'm not sure if I'm taking his opinion too much. Not sure.
Right.
He's an amazing wealth of trivia. There was actually a game show once that pitted him against the contestants with trivia questions. You had to know more answers than Ben Stein did. It's actually where Jimmy Kimmel got his start. He was co-host of the show. But I mean, but for all that trivia knowledge, he's got a lot of really bad opinions. And he's been a part of a lot of far right, a lot of very religious rhetoric over the course of several decades. It's so I don't know that I would actually listen to much of Ben Stein would say, except for maybe having a kind of fun trivia game with him someday. But
yeah, okay, so you can go play trivia with Ben Stein. I am going to stay over here in my corner because I don't want to be compared to Hitler personally. So that's just my thing. I get it if it's not your thing. But, we all have different standards, I guess.
I feel like that's a valid one. I'm with you there. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't remember Hitler talking about Charles Darwin too much. I do remember that the Catholic Church celebrated Hitler's birthday. So that's a fun little trivia fact you can bring up to Ben Stein next time you meet him, I'd say.
It's that eugenics thing that they tie back to Darwin, right?
Yeah. But
right, it's people like Harry Laughlin, using those ideas that if natural selection happens, then we can force the selection, and it's still weird. That wasn't even an idea of Darwin's, right?
Yeah, no, it's still weird to me that you can cite your grandfather as a eugenicist and unironically, like not as a joke, just say Harry Laughlin and be 100% serious about it. But
weird, right?
I just wouldn't be as open about it as you are. That's all.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Anyway, so that's fun. Let's move on. Next one here, Kenneth Copeland. John, you got this one?
Everyone's favorite televangelist, Kenneth Copeland. He's one of the world's America's most wealthy pastors. Copeland dismissed the intellectual validity of atheism entirely. And this is what he said. The atheist problem is not that they cannot know God. Rather, it is that they do not want to know him. Man's problem with the existence of God is not an intellectual problem. It is a moral problem. And I'm almost surprised he didn't slip in the word barometer there. Because, everyone else does.
Right, Steve Harvey,
Yeah, right.
They should develop that technology together.
Right. We're liars. We're all liars. The three of us are liars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that God exists. We just choose not to accept it or something.
It's a moral
ridiculous.
problem.
Right.
It's because we want to sin. Because we have bad morals.
Right.
We want to sin.
I'm trying to think of other domains of knowledge that are held up by morality, like being like, do I know the earth is round because I'm a good person? Is that the correlation there? Like what other correlations can we make to knowledge? I don't think of any. I guess it's just the God thing, huh? That's the only thing stopping us.
Wait, if I'm a good person, I could know how the weather. No, that doesn't work either.
Yeah,
no, you're right. I can't think of anything.
Only God.
Now, what kind of knowledge can we gain from being bad people? Does it work in the inverse? Because is there some sort of arcane sort of arts that we maybe have access to? I don't know.
Dark arts?
I think we're becoming Satanists, actually, by talking about this. I see the connection now. It's all making sense.
Yeah. We're slowly moving there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenneth Copeland, again, another guy on this list that, like, moral advice, not taking it, right? Don't think I need to get lessons from him. So I'm good on that, actually.
I almost feel...
Especially when he has when he has so much money that he could get rid of a fourth of it and really save a lot of suffering of people who believe in his God, even.
That's true.
Yeah.
I apologize for not spitting it with as much venom when I read it out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I felt very relaxed when I read that, and I should have done it.
Yeah, you do have, it's not, you didn't quite match his accent, but that's okay. I didn't quite match Ray Comfort's accent.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
we're even now.
I'd say so. That makes sense.
Whoa, I got stuck there for a second.
I also got stuck there for a second. That's okay.
Cool.
It may be because of the supernatural abilities of this next person that you're reading from, Kelley.
It could well be he's socking it to us. Chuck Norris wrote several columns for World Nut Daily, attacking secular education and the separation of church and state. If we are to survive as a free nation, we must return to the God of our fathers. A secular progressive agenda is not the way to the future. It's the way to the past, to the darkness.
To the past, to the darkness. That sounds like something from one of his movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Chuck Norris, huh? Okay.
Which part of the past? Because I feel like, you know, if we're only going back at like 1,000 years when people did believe in gods and stuff, it was pretty dark then.
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah, that's
Sure
true.
was.
That's true.
I
It seems
don't wanna
like
be
every time you've been I don't know, Christians are either at the end of really poor treatment or are the like creators of really poor treatment for other people. So like I don't know which is the good time. Like when was time we want to go back to for that? I don't know. Certainly not good for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, up yours, Chuck Norris.
Yeah. I feel bad. You know, I made a lot of jokes about you as a kid, thinking how cool you were. And now this one, I'm learning some things. It's not as cool.
I don't know about you fellas, though, but I would read World Nut Daily.
World Nut Daily does sound
totally
like a good one. Yeah. I wish I could roundhouse kick this knowledge out of my head.
Right.
So that I could still view Chuck Norris in a favorable light, but unfortunately I can't.
Could you? Well, but if you could you also do it for the Dolly Parton one? Because I feel bad that I'm like,
not good. It's a minor comment, but it's like, Dolly, come on, Dolly,
you're
you
better than that, Dolly.
didn't have to say that. But anyway,
so we've gotten let down by Teddy Roosevelt, Dolly Parton, and Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's a big. Gosh, that's a big couple of ones there. Let's see if there's any more that we could be let down by. Actually, I'm not even sure. I think maybe we should do one more round here. I think.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Okay, let's get this through. This next one is, of course, someone who we all know, love, and respect. It's Dennis Prager, of course. Dennis Prager of PragerU. I can't he has to be the PragerU guy. Like we have to call him that now because it's just a YouTube channel. He probably doesn't do anything for it. It's probably other people that actually write stuff. But anyway, Prager frequently argues that atheists are incapable of leading truly meaningful lives. And here's a quote from one of his videos. You can be an agnostic intellectually, but you cannot live as an agnostic. You live either as if life is random chance or as if it is infused with ultimate meaning. That's it, huh? That's the only two sort of things we can go on. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can't live as an agnostic. If you do, your brain is going to explode from the contradictions. It doesn't work.
I don't understand how they think that their lives revolve around their religious belief. They have that's only I'm like everybody I know who's religious, except for some really, really crazy fanatic people, right? And I didn't mean crazy like mentally, like a mental illness, but I meant it more as you know what I mean.
Wild. They have some wild ideas.
Like wild, like wacky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that most people who are believers, the religion is really such a small part of their lives, 10% or less, right? And they have almost 90% of their life that doesn't revolve around religion at all. But if somebody else doesn't believe that same 10%, then they can't have any of the 90% rest of their life. It's just so wacky to me that people would believe something like that.
Yeah.
If they don't see that in their own life, you know?
Right.
What's this magical purpose that Dennis Prager has that I don't? Making conservative propaganda pieces on YouTube to trick, people into thinking they have good arguments for things that they don't. Like that's the amazing life purpose that I'm losing out on by not being a believer. I don't know. I think I'll pass.
I think people would pay good money to listen to that kind of rhetoric, and so maybe
apparently they do.
I'm not saying that that's what is happening, but.
Yeah, I mean, there's been unironic. I mean, you would know this, I think, John. There's been people that have unironically wanted to get PragerU put into schools, like as curriculum, like the next fucking Miss Frizzle or whatever, just like getting that shit in there. I don't know. It's not great. So not a good one. This next one is another, I think, print error, John. So you should go to the one after that.
Oh, well, I've seen a really good one, and I'm sorry for Greg because he's got a lot of
go for it.
But he's one of my favorites in like his favorites.
Pastor Greg Locke is
close. Frank Turek.
Okay. Gotcha.
And he uses this a lot. He says this a lot. I'm not saying atheists can't be moral. I'm saying they can't justify morality. If there is no God, everything is a matter of opinion. The Nazis had an opinion. We had an opinion. If there is no God, who is to say who was right? And I kind of did that like he was saying it, but with a British accent.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah?
I could see that. Frank Turek has no good opinion on morality. I know this for a fact because I've met Frank Turek in person, and he's part of the reason why I'm called Objectively Dan, because I asked him about objective morality one time, and I thought his answer to objective morality was so stupid that anything could be objective. So I might as well be Objectively Dan. That is the lore behind my name, folks.
That's genius.
It goes down to Frank Turek. So anyway, I asked him about the verse in the Bible that talks about the folks that were stoning people on a Sunday for picking up sticks, and whether that was an example of objective morality. And I can't give you an exact quote, but his answer to me basically was, well, this was the thing that they did at the time, right? That this was the acceptable course of punishment in the Jewish community, which that's just cultural relativism.
Right.
That's just saying, hey, it was okay. There's nothing objective about it. It's really just his opinion. So it does come to our opinions, mine and Frank Turek's, I guess.
If that's the case, I'm going to bury my children in some foundations because it was acceptable at the time.
Yeah, should put them in a pyramid,
right?
Like Nicolas Cage,
right?
Is going to do. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm wondering if anybody ever actually pulled Frank Turek aside to actually tell him, that your belief in God, that's a fucking opinion.
Yeah.
He hears it all the time. I've seen people say that to him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you figured out morality is objective, there's a prize with your name on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But like everybody that's ever studied ethics is, I don't know, they're not all in agreement on this. So I don't know. But of course, Frank Turek knows better than any of us, I guess, about what it means to be moral. So anyway, not great. Last one on here, though, Kelley, is for you.
Yeah, and we had to do it. We had
to do it.
From
had to
the
put that one in there.
Banana Man video segment with Kirk Cameron, we got Ray Comfort. Behold, the atheist nightmare. Note that the banana and the hand are perfectly made.
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you, Kelley. Can you please do it in your best New Zealand accent?
Yes, please.
I cannot do a New Zealand accent at all.
I'd like to see you try.
Behold, the atheist nightmare. Note that it's an Australian, man.
No, that's close enough. No, listen, take it from me. It's close enough.
One for the other. God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face.
Wow.
Oh, an oldie but a goodie, eh?
It is an oldie and a goodie. And I always like the idea of pulling the tab and having the content squirt in your face. So,
yeah, I'm with you. I can't tell you. I've really enjoyed some things squirting in my face over the years.
If I had a nickel for every time John has told me about how much he loves things getting squirted in his face, I'd be a rich man. Yeah. I tell you guys.
You might have 7 nickels, but I mean that's still good.
7 nickels in this economy?
You're right.
Doing okay. Anyway, so do you know about this that Ray Comfort has said? So he did like a documentary later called The Fool, right? And it's supposed to be about him and his life. And he talks about this scene and he says, "Oh, I was trolling in this scene." That's his explanation. Sure. That he was just that he knew that this wasn't a good argument or whatever, and he was just joking. I don't buy that for a single. I don't buy that for 7 nickels. Let me tell you, there is no way on God's green earth that man was trolling people.
Do you think in the edit of that video, he was watching it back and he went, oh, hang on.
I don't know,
jerking off a banana.
He was pretty confident when he said it. Watching that video, and again, Kirk Cameron's there. Yeah, right. Yeah, just nodding along with it all.
That's right.
Yeah, that was not trolling. That was totally intentional.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just something he hadn't thought through all the way. And here, a lot of Christian apologetics aren't for people who aren't Christians or who are not Christians. It's for Christians. Hey, look how great our belief is, and here let's strengthen our own belief, right? Because the things that most of the stuff is so illogical, it's not going to land with people like us, right?
Right.
It's just not going to do it. But if you already believed, it's going to totally strengthen that belief, and that's where Ray Comfort is. That's where he lives at.
It's the confidence of, hey, I'm not feeling super good about my belief. I need another person to tell me that my belief is actually good. Right. That's the role that Ray Comfort fills, and others like him, for sure. So he likes fulfilling roles in different ways, I'd say.
In the face.
Bananas may or may not be included on that note. But hey, this was a really great time, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining me today.
There was a lot of hateful laughter.
There was.
Hateful laughter, but joyous laughter.
Yes,
as well.
Thankful for that. I'm thankful.
I'm
thankful.
I like to have somebody call the three of us hateful while we're up here having such a good time. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm thankful that John can give me acting tips on how to give my best New Zealand accent in constructive and positive ways.
I'm going to help you right now with 10 seconds. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Australians say fish and chips. New Zealanders say fush and chups. That's
Fush and chups?
Eyes are ease.
Yeah.
That's not. Is that real? That sounds fake.
Genuine. I'm quarter Kiwi. I'm one. My grandfather was a New Zealander.
Quarter Kiwi?
Yeah, my grandfather was a New Zealander. I know. We've got some Dan Law and we've got some John Law.
Lore. That's right. The Lore's dropping. Yeah, we got me talking about Frank Turek, you being a quarter Kiwi, and Kelley being related to a white supremacist. That's the That's the lore we got to give on Truth Wanted. 100%. Well, okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind next time I'm practicing in front of the mirror when I think nobody is watching.
Yeah. And the best one is when they talk about a deck, because in New Zealand, they don't call it a deck. They call it a dick.
They really do call it a dick, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eyes are eyes and eyes are ease.
To have been animated makes a little bit more sense. But anyway, all right. Well, so this has been a great Thankful for Our Haters episode. And, I am thankful that all these people can say this dumb stuff so that we can make fun of it on this show today. And, hopefully we got some laughter for you guys watching at home as well and realizing, hey, you're not alone, that other people think the same way you do. And, people are going to think the way that they think, and just let them think it. Okay. It's Thanksgiving season. People are going to have their opinions, whatever, man. You got to do you. Okay. Do what's best for yourself. Don't worry what other people are thinking. Live your best life. It's what Teddy would have wanted. And we got to make sure you know what, you keep that voice high. You don't keep it low. That's my thoughts, gentlemen. Any other thoughts you want to give before I go off on a tangent here, way off the rails?
I just want to say I'm thankful for being here with the two of you. I'm thankful for being able to work on Truth Wanted for as long as I have. And I'm really thankful for the viewers. And I hope that they have as much fun watching this as we did making it. So
I love that. I love that. John, any saccharine sort of message you want to tag on?
I'm thankful for everybody who works behind the scenes for these shows, because without them, we are nothing. And we just love them all. And we're thankful for all of them.
I love that. Well, it's time to wrap things up, folks. This has been another great episode of Truth Wanted. Remember to always keep one the truth, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Watch The Non-Prophets and join the hosts in the live chat. Visit tiny.cc/YTNP.